me start the talk. So today my talk, I will give you the talk, engineering low field MRI, and also I would like to share some experience we translating it into clinical practicals. So okay, so everyone knows our low field MRI setting, like compared to the regular MRI, right? We have operator room, electron room, and also the magnetic vision, the shading room. So for the low field, everything is squeezed. So the magnetic and also the electronics are, in a very small box, and also, we can use the pad for the operation. So we don't need like large space. So this is a kind of our setting in my lab, or at the SJTU. So our first scanner is like 0.25 Tesla low field MRI, and then we develop 0.1 Tesla low field MRI, and later on we make the portable, so it's also 0.1 Tesla. And from end of the year, we commercialized the IP from the SJTU. So we found the point image healthcare. So this is a kind of our product scanner in the company. So actually, image quality is the key. It's very important for low field MRI. So this is what we got from the commercialized scanner in our lab, from our lab. So we can get the T1 image in like one half minute, and T1 flare, and T2, and also T2 flare. And also we can get the amperage-like contrast 3D imaging, and also we did a lot of denoising for 3D image, and more important is that diffusion MRI. As we can see here, we can get a very nice diffusion MRI. However, in order to get all those quality images, a lot of engineering are needed to obtain those images. So in my talk, I will share some hardware engineering, and also power sequence engineering, and design engineering, and also some events of translating into clinical practicals. So first, let's look at the hardware engineering. So from practical consideration, if you integrate a system, you will the first time you get the image, you will get a lot of artifact. I imagine it's very difficult to get a very clean images for the first attempting. So you will get a lot of artifacts. Like here, we show some typical artifact we got from our scanner before. And from a system, we know that we have a lot of components like a spectrometer and RF amplifier, and also we have gradient amplifier, and also for the RF channel we have the preamplifier, and also for easier to move, we have the mobile platform maybe. And we have a lot of power supply cables, filters, and shadings. But if all components are developed by yourself, you always need to think about your lambda frequency. You need to design your component have a very clean signal. You don't have any influence from the along the lambda frequency. But nowadays we have a lot of open source hardware, right? So I always recommend to take some time to know about those EMC programs, about those open hardware. And also I encourage our community, if possible, to share some EMC features of the hardware. You can share some, frequency response for those hardware. If you have, then for people integrate the system, they can know whether it's suitable for their lambda frequency. So I highly recommend that. But if you buy a lot of commercial parts, like most of part we bought from the commercialized. So you need to read the tag feature very carefully, and also you need to think about making shadings and filter for the part. I will share some experience from us. So we take one example of the gradient amplifier. So as we know, the gradient amplifier, we have the linear power amplifier, and also in order to get high current, normally we use the switching power amplifier. So for a lot of application, like for the DW sequence, or a lot of advanced sequence, you need to use high. As I guess you have to use the high amp gradient amplifier. So we choose the switching power amplifier for our system. So this is what we choose, like GPA 1513 from Shenzhen. It's the local company is called Shenzhen Chesheng Electronics. So this is the current can up to 120 amp continually, and the voltage is about 150 DC, and that's what we choose. And now you have the gradient amplifier, and then you need to choose a gradient amplifier power supply. So we choose a branch meanwhile. So it's a 3.5 kilowatt for supply the power for the gradient amplifier. And we adding some shading box. You see from here you see we have a lot of filter to get rid of a lot of EMI effect. So we use this to supply the gradient amplifier, and then we put everything into a electronic box. Like here, as we see, this is the gradient amplifier, and this is the power supply, and we also use a lot of filters to remove a lot of gradient switching frequency harmonics, and also we use common mode chokes to reduce the common mode interference. So all of this together, we can get get rid of a lot of gradient related artifact from our system. So this is the kind of practical consideration for our gradient system from our system. And then, about the calculations, system calculations, we put our system, portable system to many new environment, and the different environment may cause the eddy current change from time to time or from place to place. And the eddy current can cause like the signal drop, or, for the diffusion experiment, it can make the distortion different from different diffusion encoded gradients. So in order to process that, we need to make a very good eddy current calculation, and also very fast eddy current calculations. And the traditional, we kind of normally people use the image phase based correction for the eddy current, right? And actually, because it's low field, the signal to noise is very low typically, and eddy current measurements are very time consuming. It takes may several hours, and the field may drift according to across those hours, and make the eddy current calculation not accurate enough. So we develop a field probe phase-based correction. So it can give you very high SNR, and also with great improved acquisition efficiency. It just takes several minutes. And also it's captured of high order eddy current measurement and the real-time correction. Like here, we can do the correction in 3 to 5 minutes without any field drift. And after correction, we can see that for the FSE sequence, you can get rid of the phase accumulation between different echoes. That accumulation can lead into the signal loss for the FSE, and with a good correction, we can get rid of those signal loss. And for the EPI diffusion, we can get similar distortion performance, even use different diffusion encoding or gradients. And another problem is the co-commit field. When gradient fields are applied, other fields are actually unavoidably produced, because you can think about the Maxwell equation. You create a gradient, it can cause other gradient terms. So it will create other phase terms. So it has a very good theory description from this literature, and we develop a set like a measurement structure, and also with the 6 field probe to very accurate measure the co-commit field in this in different gradient axis. Like you turn on the x gradient, we can see some gradient, some phase along the z axis, and you turn y, is also can measure the z axis gradient term. And also when you create the z gradient, like the slide selection gradient, you will see a lot of like x square and y square term. So with all this, we can really accurately calculate the system co-commit field, and then during the sequence design, we need to take into that account. I will show you later on. So yeah, the next part I think is also very important part is the power sequence engineering. If you look at the literature, we will see many power sequence development for the low field, but most are focused on the FSC base or GRE base, and there are very few use the EPI base and also some RF base sequence. So our SGTU group, we derive all the sequence from different branch like GRE, FSC, EPI, and also RF. It really depends on the field inhomogeneity. For the very large field inhomogeneity, like a hyperfine system, the GRE base is very challenging because the field inhomogeneity is very large, and also for some other system, if the field inhomogeneity is very large, and then the GRE and EPI base sequence is very hard. So sequence engineering, considering hardware imperfection, is very important for low field MRI, and it's very important for make the image very stable. So I will show some sequence development from our group. First one is the multi-banding sequence. So okay, FSE, everyone knows, is a very robust sequence in general, right? And multi-band image with the RF encoding can improve the SNR efficiency, but multi-band FSE is not widely used as a clinical field because what? Because one, the RF amplifier is very large. The power is very large, and you cannot reach a very big like a B1 max. And also another part is the SAR limit. Because in the FSE there are a lot of 180 powers or echo chain. So if you use a lot of power, like high power powers, then you will reach to the SAR limit. So those limits are not available for the low field. But how we can overcome the artifacts in portable low field multi-band FSC is very important. As we see, RF amplifier only require like less than 1 kilowatt in general for low field, and like there's no SAR limit. So it's open many new opportunities for RF power design for the low field. This is the FSD sequence we developed for the low field portable system. as you see from the red color, we add a lot of you know component like gradient or some relations to get rid of artifact for the portable system. So first, let's look at the pulse design. As I mentioned, that the B1 Max is not a big issue, but we still, try to optimize, the peak B1, and we try different design methods and also different band, and also for FSE, sometimes you need to consider the CPMG effect, the CPMG condition. So you need to change the modulation phase to give a good CPMG condition. So this is a kind of pulse we use for the system. We use pulse resolution 2 microseconds and 500-watt amplifier. The average peak B1 is about 200 millitesla, and it's 4-band. The 10-band product is about 2 millisecond pulse durations. So even though sometimes we design the power to satisfy the CPMG condition, however, because there are a lot of residual phase errors, such as the co-common field, eddy current, also some background gradients. So those will create a lot of residual phase. So we divide quadratic phase increment to provide more stable echo chain. Like here we can see for the CPMG condition sequence, we see the echo chain decay very fast, but for the quadratic phase increment, the decay is more smoothly. And also we can use phase. We see the phase oscillation between even and odd, but you can because anyhow we use average for the low field, so we can fully sample even all the images. Use the average channel. And furthermore, because the CSF contrast, the CSF T2 is not changed that much along with the field. So we add a tip up pulse here to get a better, like improving the CSF contrast for our low field MRI. Like here in the image, we see that with that tip up pulse design, we can get a higher T2 contrast of the T2 image of the brain. And yeah, so that's also very important for clinical values. So with all of this, and we can add in diffusion gradient into the FSD sequence. So we get a FSD-based diffusion experiment. As we can see, the different p-value and the different orientation of diffusion gradient. We can see different weighting images, and we can get a very nice trace image, and also even more important, we can get the DTI images from the portable MR system. We also develop a lot of EPI-based sequence. However, EPI is very sensitive to the field hemodynamics, so we propose a new sequence called spatial temporal encoding sequence. We replace that regular 180 pulse with the adiabatic pulse, and with this pulse, we can increase the immunity to field hemodynamics. As we see here, we can see less distortion and of the very fast acquisition, like EPI-based acquisitions. And with that, we can also do a 3D image very fast, like in 3 minutes to get a 3 isotropic resolution image. And we can even use for the node instruction for navigation. We get like a kind of half minute, like 500 millisecond temporal resolution. With a lot of denoising algorithm for navigations. And the EPI-based span-based sequence also can combine with the multi-band pulse as we show for FSE, and it can improve the SNR efficiency a lot. Like here, the SNR efficiency improved like 2 to 3 times, as we can see from the images. And then we can get the span-based, EPI-based, span-based of diffusion images and also DTI images. I mean, there's still a lot of engineering work needs to be done to improve the image quality, but we are close. So this is the kind of clinical protocols currently we have for the product. Like here, we get a 2 by 2 by 5 millimeter resolution quite fast for the regular 2D structure image in 10 minutes. And for the 3D, it's also like 8 minutes and 12 minutes for T1 and T2. And for the DWI, it's about 6 minutes. And the DTI is about 12 minutes to 15 minutes. And we are also developing a lot of other sequence like MRA sequence, and other sequence are under developing. So, okay, the next part is about the design engineering. That's also very important. From the lab, you may not care about the design, but in the clinical environment or for the application oriented, people cares a lot. So this is the kind of our system design. So the whole system is like this, and we have several key feature. The size is really shrunk. Because most of the door, like in the patient room, it's not that big. It's like 19 centimeters. So for one access, we have to fit that for the patient rooms. So we have to have one at least one access, less than that. And we have a very convenient force detect sensor to move the system. So when you pull it, or the sensor will feel it and then move the system. And also we have the sharing sharing window. It can open and close to get rid of a lot of EMI interference. So this is the design video from the product. And we also have a nice child-friendly low-field MRI design. So it's very cute. So for the kids, and also you can watch a video for we have a open coil, and then mirror to see to watching video and make the kids more comfortable and stable. It's very challenging for the kids. And overall, what we want is we have a 10 meter square room, and the parents can stay with the kids, and to have a very quick MRI exam there, and the doctor can talk with the parents, and to calm down the kids. So this is very important for the pediatric. Okay, the last part, I want to share some experience when we translation into clinical practicals. Okay, just recently we installed several systems, and yeah, so this is the system we got into the hospital, and put into from outside building and to inside with a very small truck. We can deliver it, and in one afternoon we can finish two system installation, and we can get the perfect phantom result as I said, like in one afternoon. So compared to the regular high field, I guess it take a long time to get the first good image out. So yeah, and it can easily go into the elevator very easily, and also it can go to the patient patient rooms. So this is the phantom image we got from the system. However, human scan was very challenging. So we spent several days to get the human scan because we don't have many experience in the hospital environment. So we get a lot of EMI effect, and we get a very noisy images for the beginning, even though we have a lot of image removal algorithm for our system. However, you never know what happens for those new environment. So we get first day we get like the image like this, and after we tune in some parameters, we get it like this. It's better. And in the end of the second day, or in the morning of the third day, we can kind of get a good image from our system. So it's not only tuning the hardware, the software. We also did a lot of hardware solution to get a good EMI remover. So it's a combination of the hardware solution and also the EMI remover algorithm for this clinical environment for the shading-free applications. As I say, like here, I just show some work from Angel's group. They develop a lot of coil stuff to get rid of the EMI from beginning, like from the coil detection. Like here, they have two ports. To one is along with the B0 direction, another one is regular RF coil. For the one along with the B0 can use for detect the EMI, then you can remove a lot of EMI signal from the coil directly. And the second part, the second one is kind of a total coil design to get rid of a lot of EMI effect. And for our system, actually, as I mentioned, we use some RF shading window, so you can close it and also you can open it. But it can remove a lot of EMI as well. And for the algorithm, I mean, the MGH group proposed a very nice editor algorithm, can remove a lot of EMI signal. And also we developed some deep learning algorithm to remove a lot of EMI. All with those together is possible to get a good image for the hospital environment, open space environment for a lot of applications. Okay, so this is what we got from the hospital. We have several systems installed in hospital. This is a pediatric, so it's a boy with age like 10 years old and 8 years old. We can see some ventricular megaray from the images, and here we can see some olecranon cyst. You see here, we can see from the image here, there's a quite big area, right? Yeah, so this is a pediatric application, and then also we can see the follow-up MRI scan for low field MRI scan after the stroke. Like this is a patient like 3 years ago get a stroke and then take a lot of medicine, and now it's a follow-up scan. We still can see the lesions. So yeah, this is a kind of applications we starting. I mean, we are still working a lot to get more application in the future. So okay, I think Yeah, with all of that, I would like to thank my team, special for Chen Hao, Philip Li, and Yue Qi, Qiu, and Shuan Chen, and Zhang Yue. So they are, work really hard to make the clinical practical use for our low field MRI. Okay, thanks for your attention.